Yes. Hello and welcome back to BVI Channel 1 Plus.
I better wait you.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Okay.
Welcome, good afternoon, and welcome to BVI Channel 1 Plus and BVI Channel 1. And I'm your girl, Bella. And I have with me Mr. Ndubisi. If you're joining us, we are live on BVI Channel 1 with Mr. Ndubisi. Hello, Mr. Ndubisi. Good afternoon from here. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, my dear. Good afternoon to you, Ebera.
Okay. All right. Welcome back again to BVI Channel 1. This is Mr. Ndubisi from the Good Governance Ministry. Okay, we are having a live session and our topic is by-election rigging, the impact, the consequences of election rigging in our society. You know, we have greed, hunger, and poverty. So my question is, you know, we all know what election rigging is, and in a particular region, people face more consequences from rigging election. What do you think about rigging election in a particular state or a nation, Mr. Ndubisi?
Yes, thank you, my dear sister. You know, I know you are referring to Nigeria, rigging
Yes.
election in Nigeria. In Nigeria, rigging election has taken another dimension. You know, it has gone scientific. It has gone scientific. You know, one thing we should all know is that those people we call political class are criminals.
Exactly.
These guys are real criminals. Because if you see a common criminal on the streets with gun, you know, he can only succeed by sidelining one person or two and going home with, say, 10 million to 20 million naira. You know, we're all shouting that criminals are everywhere. Like we have the case of Nigeria, we say kidnappers are everywhere. We have kidnappers everywhere. But the real kidnappers are those criminals that steal with the constitution. Those so-called professors we have in government houses, blowing big grammar, speaking big grammar, using the constitution of Nigeria to steal people's generational money. They steal not in hundreds, but in thousands. The consequences of their action will have negative implication on millions of people. So if you talk about rigging, you know, then when I was growing up, I know that politicians could go to polling booths with ballot papers, stock or get their pockets stocked with some printed ballot papers. But it has never been easy. It has never been easy for one polling booth to the other. They might succeed in one and they fail in many others. That was how far rigging was going place, early 80s. And you know, 90s we have soldiers in power. But these days, you know, rigging is not just going to polling booths with ballot papers, some printed ballot papers. It is using people's hard-earned resources to buy people over. Note one thing, this current political class have so weaponized the people with poverty and hunger
I want to come
That
in.
what?
I want to come in, Mr. Ndubisi. You know,
Yeah,
you
feel
talked
free.
about we are discussing election rigging. You know, most times the impact, these people don't think about the future impact it has on the society and on a nation. You know, election rigging goes beyond stealing election votes, you know, because these corrupt politicians, they don't care about the people. You know, most times when they are having their political campaign sessions, the most competent ones are asked questions with the people. They have a live session with people where they speak to the people. And when they know and when they see that the other party is having impact and the other party might win, now this is where the election rigging comes in. They want to think of grabbing power from the person they feel is going to get the people, you know, thereby saying that these people does it mean that they don't have agenda at all for the people? That's why they want to rig these votes from people.
You know, but like what I'm saying, it's not the case of not having agenda. They have agenda to steal money from the people. They have agenda to steal money for personal purpose, for their families, for their friends, you know, whoever has the interest of the masses at heart will not think about buying votes or rigging an election. Whoever has the interest of the masses will go to election with open mind. If I fail, I fail. Because I'm going there to serve the people. If people do not vote for me, I'll go home and rest. Because since I know that I'm going there to serve the people, why should I kill? Why should I stop people's pocket with money if at all I have interest of the people at heart? So, in conclusion, what I'm saying, my dear sister, is that none of these politicians has the interest of the masses at heart. So the question you ask whether they have plans to better the loss of the society. No, 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 no. I don't think they have the interest of the masses. Why I'm saying that is that building a modern society is not a rocket science, better. If I'm the governor, I should be able to use my training in economics to create millions of jobs. Not just creating jobs, but encouraging private sector, creating enabling environment that will jumpstart the business environment. And once you do that, I bet you millions of people will be busy.
All right.
Currently, if you look at around you can see that so many people are not working. Does it mean that
Exactly.
they don't want to, does it mean they don't want to work?
No?
People are ready to work. They are ready to work, looking for job. But you have bushes everywhere. You have virgin land everywhere. You have virgin markets. You have areas of improvement. You have many things to do to make money. But it's government that should organize it. But instead of government organizing it, they will come and exploit you. So tell me, do they have the interest of the masses at heart?
No. So the issues and the challenges coming from a rigged election, you already mentioned the unemployment rate that is going to affect the society. Another one, do you think people are becoming vulnerable? That's why they give in when these people are rigging this election. What do you think?
Yes, my dear Barra, you know, when I don't think you know what it means for somebody not to have money in the pocket. I don't think you know what it means for somebody not to know where to make money to pay his landlord. I think I know you do know that so many people don't know where the next meal will be coming from. So people are vulnerable. And it is a system that created that situation. And the system that created that situation is powered by the criminals in power. I deliberately use the word criminals because those guys are great criminals. Not the guys going with gun, but these are the people with people's money. They are stealing people's money with impunity, using constitution as a cover. So I am bold to call them criminals, and I'm doing that before the camera. Thank you.
As a case study, I want to make an example. When you say you quote criminals, we have lawlessness. We know recently that Yaya Bello was dragged from the ESCC, dragged by the ESCC for not accounting of the money he took. And this brings about lawlessness. Do you think this election rigging has to do with this kind of lawlessness, the height of lawlessness in the very government people are answering to? The same government is putting people that we know for fraud into the government, just like we have Yaya Bello and Kwam Wan, the ambassador for the airline.
Yes, thank you, Ebera. Thank you, my girl. The answer is obvious. You know, when the people have not chosen their leader, when their leaders are being chosen by those criminals, the so-called criminals, few criminals in power, I wonder what anybody expects. I wonder where you expect them to be loyal. Their commitment and whatever thing they have lies with the Godfather who has handpicked them from nowhere to become somebody. So they should be answerable to that non-Godfather. So if once the people have not or are not involved in the process of selecting their leader, my dear, we have to be ready to expect anything. And that is the case you have with Yaya Bello. Because Yaya Bello is a young guy, you know, chosen by the power to be in Abuja. From nowhere, he was imposed on the people of Kogi State. Who do you think Yaya Bello should be loyal to? The people or the person that appointed him? No, it's the person that appointed him. So, like the subject we have here, the power of the people is the only way to go. And the people know the power they have and are able to come together, congregate. As we congregate in Sunday Mass, congregate and say, this is who we want. We want Ebi to be the governor of Anambra State, and everybody will come around her, even without her having any money. Even without her giving anybody money, people will contribute money. Just like we contribute money to build our churches. You know, until that is done, we'll continue to suffer. And we'll continue to allow the criminals in power, the criminals that call themselves professors, that call themselves educated people. These guys will never give you anything. They know and they've seen, and their children in overseas, they know how the society is run. They know what is governance. They know what government should do for the welfare, to take care of the people's welfare and security and provide public infrastructure. It's not, nobody should pressing anybody for time for building road, or nobody should pressing anybody for providing hundreds of thousands of jobs. This is what you elected to do. You go there and do that. Don't expect me to thank you for doing that. After all, people are paying you for doing what you are doing. And you are everything about you, your food, your housing, your car, your medical allowance, everything is being provided for. Why are we presenting these idiots?
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Want to pick
Yeah,
something? Thank you.
yeah, you
Okay,
can add, my dear.
they come. No, my driver they come now. Thank you.
All right, we have Mr. Ndubisi going on about what the impact and the examples of what the election rigging has on the country. I want to talk about the public outrage in recent times. You know, the public outrage only commands this government, you know, but only few, when that is when the public outrage commands the government. Look at a case of Natasha and Akpabio, okay? People are interested in what the people want. You know, we are interested. People are interested in the betterment of the society. When you offer people what they want, it means you are close to the people. Okay, it's not when you just find yourself or force yourself into the government. Okay, so most times the people forget that they have ambition about their personal. Most times these people forget that they have ambition about the government, and they are more of their personal pockets, just like you mentioned prior to now, because the betterment of the people is the most important thing. Where we say democracy is a government for the people and by the people and for the people. You know, one of the major complaints from the grassroots level we have right now, from in the recent times in our society, is the political instability, the economic meltdown, the economic meltdown, the prolonged financial crisis, the impact it has over the years. Okay, like we mentioned, if you're just joining us, the vulnerability in the people where you see cases of them sharing rice, noodles to the people. We already mentioned lawlessness and neglect from the government. People that are supposed to be the people who are implementing the laws are the people that are defaulters. Just like we mentioned prior to now, Yahaya Bello, we have a case it played very, before our eyes, Natasha and Akpabio. You know, it happened few in this 2025. We already mentioned increase in the crime rates. You know, when we have a failed government, we already have a failed state. Unemployment rates will be on the rise. Increase in the crime rates will be on the rise too. Unemployment, I lost you a bit. You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear.
You were talking about the lawlessness, the height of lawlessness in our society.
Yes, Abera, you want me to speak?
Yes.
Okay, to speak about the lawlessness in our land.
Yes.
Yes, the level of lawlessness we have within the country is mind-boggling. to say the least, my dear sister. I think somebody tagged Nigeria as a zoo. But to me, Nigeria is not a zoo and can never be a zoo. Zoo is a more organized environment. In zoo, animals in the zoo are well fed, well taken care of. There are law and order inside the zoo. Zoo, every animal has his own personal house and operational environment. So I mean, zoo is organized, but Nigeria is a jungle, a jungle. Anytime I'm driving out of my house, I have that thing inside me that today could be the last day of my existence. Today, anything could happen. And I sympathize with my young family. What if I go out there today and did not make it back home or do not make it back home? These are the things that keep on bothering and harassing my mind and are not far-fetched. Because before my very eyes, I've seen powerful people falling down. I've seen powerful people gone down, and yet nothing happened. I've seen connected people who have money kidnapped, butchered, and yet nothing happened. I saw former State House of Assembly kidnapped, governor behaved as if to say nothing happened. Even his former colleagues in the house were all so comfortable moving around as if to say nothing has happened. So
when I want to come in. When you say we've seen powerful people fall down, I want to elaborate on the case of how our politicians usually fly outside of the country just to get a simple medical care. We see President Bola Ahmed Mohammed, fly out from the country most times because he is ill. We've seen the past presidents, lots and lots of our politicians fly out just to get proper medical care. Does it mean that in the country they rule, they govern, they don't want a proper medical care in it?
It boils down on what I'm saying, trust. When you create a system and you yourself that created that system is not okay or sorry or do not trust the same system you create, what do you expect? You train a medical doctor and you that train that such medical doctor does not have confidence in the certificates you have given to the doctor. Why would you expect the doctor to prescribe drug for you? So that is the genesis of our problem here. We have leaders who are not sincere. We have leaders who are fraudulent. We have leaders who do not have confidence in the system they are running. And that is the simple reason why a president of a country with all the billions of dollars under his pockets could not create a standard hospital that should be able to take care of him. It did not start today, my dear. It's not Tinubu that started it. Even Obasanjo, when Obasanjo was there, Obasanjo used to go outside to preach himself. I don't know of Jonathan, but I know, of course, I know of Yaradua. Where did Yaradua die? Yaradua died outside Nigeria. And he was brought back to Nigeria as a dead man. Buhari died outside the country. Maybe Buhari, Tinubu will still die outside the country. So the question you ask is not, the answer is not far-fetched. These men are criminals.
You know, in an
I know.
ideal civil society, I want to come in an ideal civil society, people who are given government appointments are usually the ones with passion to serve. Okay. So now, we have seen that these people don't have passion. The people in power, the politicians in power do not really care about the people. We all see that these people are more concerned for their personal gains. Do you think public outrage only commands the government?
Sorry, do I think that public outrage
commands the government?
will do what?
Will command the government to do better.
Oh, it's only somebody who has conscience, or it's only somebody who cares that will listen to public when you are shouting. If you like, shout from here to Sokoto, it doesn't bother him. See, once you make mistake by electing wicked and heartless people as your leader, these guys are bloodsuckers. They don't have human heart like me and you. So the moment you make that mistake of electing them, do you see Jagabab bothering himself about high cost of living? A liter of fuel is 900 naira. The man is busy buying jets, private jets. It doesn't concern him. People are dying. People are being slaughtered every day. Dangote, a truck killed so many people the other day. What has he done? A very dark man is busy protesting everywhere. Has he even shown any empathy? You know, he hasn't. The other time in Anambra State, fish magnet was kidnapped and assassinated. Has he changed anything? The other time, former House of Assemblyman was kidnapped and killed. Even the wife contested the election in Onitsha. You know what happened? Your governor was busy celebrating victory against the woman. Where is the conscience, my dear? So I'm not saying, my dear sister, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying this to discourage people from protesting or from holding government accountable. Of course, I'm doing that right here. I hold them to account. I criticize them. I call them out. You know, I will not stop people from doing that. But what I'm saying is that the power of the people is stronger than those very few people in government. If people are able to organize themselves, I bet you, even if you elect a governor to be there, we can as well march down to the National House of Assembly and ask them to impeach the governor. If they refuse to impeach the governor, we will start the process of recall. But there, we can only do that if people are together. That is my message this afternoon. My message is for people to know the power they have and to gather themselves together. Not just outrage or crying or praying or shouting or castigating. No, organize yourself under a platform. And with that level of organization, you can make a statement. You can say, House of Assembly impeach the governor. If you fail to impeach him, we'll recall you. If we have the population, we can start the recall process today. After all, in Anambra State, Professor Soludo became the governor of Anambra State with just 112,000 votes. What is 112,000 votes? We have more than 2.9 million registered voters in Anambra State.
Exactly.
Just people in Bank Market and people in two markets in Onitsha should be more than 200,000 people. So people in Onitsha, all the markets in Onitsha can remove a governor from the seat. So if they know the power they have, they can do that. But you know, our people are suffering and smiling. And the next day they will go to Bemonso. They believe that Bemonso will give them magic, miracle. The miracle, mana yesi n'eluigwe daa, esi mana sisi n'eluigwe daa, o mee ka ndị anụrụ dị n'ụdị, o mee ka ndị enwere ọrụ nwee ọrụ. Where ya ka ebe dị indọstrị nọ, ndị anụrụ dị n'ụdị, ka ụmụ nwoke ya anụ ọrụ nwoke rijuo afọ. O wee chọrọ maka nwaanyị ọ ya enye nne na 24th century kịta ebere use iPhone.
I want to say something right now. You mentioned about the church. You know, these days people tend to seek for solace in the church rather than having we can count plenty in my community or in my area. I can count how many churches alone in my vicinity, but I cannot count the industries or where we produce something, or we can count churches in the industries. So you see where these people are failing. What do you think about the number of religiousness we have in this country?
It's not their fault. It's not the fault of all those churches. It is the failure of the government. Because if I am the governor of a state, I should be able to create an enabling environment that will encourage private investors to come in. And such encouragement will be able to motivate a lot of people to come in and start investing. And once that is done, people will see how to make money. People will see that an hour they committed in workplace will earn them 30,000 naira. People will say that if they commit 8 hours in a day, they will make 60,000 naira. Then you make churches unattractive. You don't need to order bishops to close church, and you don't need to discourage them from expanding their churches. It's their business, it's God's business. But the question is, what action are you taking place or have you put in place to discourage people from going to church to sleep? Have you provided jobs for them? Have you provided hospitals? Have you provided food for them? If you have provided all these basics needs, their prayer points will be reduced. Have you given young ladies husbands? If you have done that, many of them will stop going to churches. Their prayer points will reduce. But you, the governor, after God is government.
It's the government. Yeah, exactly.
After God is the government. You, the governor, pretend as if to say it's not your responsibility to give young ladies husband. It is the responsibility of governor, like Soludo, to give many of our guests husbands, quality husbands. If government does not bother to create jobs, somebody will tell me that there is not government business to create jobs. Who told you it's not government business? Who told you it's not government business to organize?
You know, I want to be realistic here. We are talking about government creating jobs and everything. You know, recently the new minimum wage is 77,000. You know, so let's be realistic. Do you think 77,000 naira is going to carry a whole person, a young person that is married or a family for a whole month?
No, no, no. I don't think so. But you know, there are certain fundamentals that must be right before you talk of minimum wage. First, you have to talk about productivity. You know, first, you talk about
Productivity.
government getting the right policies. See, let me tell you, if government should create or put in place the right economic framework through which businesses or privately owned businesses can smile to the bank or boast of posting profits every month. I'm telling you, government will have moral rights to enforce certain decisions in both private sector and public sector. But a situation whereby, let me give you an instance. A situation whereby, my dear sister, you are working in an office.
Yes.
Your electricity bill every month is 70,000 naira. And the overall revenue that office is generating is 450,000 naira. By the time you pay electricity bill alone, 70,000 naira a month, and it's not like that electricity will be given to you on 24 hours basis as per giving. No, it's not given. Rather, it will be given to you less than 10 hours a day. The other hours will be used. The other hours will be used on independent power source, like genset. And altogether, you are paying 100,000 naira on energy. Tell me, if you have a company, you have to vary your variable cost, the cost you can do without, which could be personnel. You can touch personnel because you know you cannot do without electricity. You know you cannot do without fuel. You know you cannot do without paying for your rent, house rent. You know you cannot do without food. So by the time you handle your fixed expense, you know, how much is left for you? So, you know, what I'm still saying is that government has a lot to do to assist businesses to survive. If government can handle all these fixed expenses, reduce cost of operations, cost of doing business, taxation, they can come around and say, yes, an average worker should be able to go home with 300,000 naira.
Exactly. I want to come in. I'm sorry to cut you. I want to come in. You made mention of government being accountable. You know, there was this video I saw about Rotimi Amechi saying that whenever sometimes he goes to the club and see the people. And sometimes when he goes to the club, he likes to go there without security. You know, you mentioned about the fish magnets. I want to talk about the insecurity and the crime rate, what unemployment does in a society. Okay, he said that whenever he goes there and come out and see that the crime rate is high, there is robbery, there is pickpockets, there is snatching of phones and all that, he knows that the money is not flowing in the society. He tells himself, he tells his co-workers that salary needs to be paid, that they need to pay salary. So once salary is paid, you know, the money flows, the crime rate drops. So I want to talk about, so he of course he's aware that when he is accountable, when he does his job as a governor and pay the people and pay salaries, the crime rate drops. So you see that these people are very much aware of how to run the government and how to treat the people. But still, they turn deaf ears on the rate of crime rates. We see a case study of where Soludo told the native doctors, all these Okite people, these things has to stop. Few months from now in Anambra, it was total unrest, terror everywhere. You cannot go out because of the rate of insecurity in Anambra State, just because of crime rates. Crime rate increases when people don't have jobs, when people don't earn a decent living. They resort to all kinds of things just to make their ends meet. And the government know that these things need to stop. What do you think about this?
Yes, thank you, my dear. In as much as I want to agree with the former governor of River State, that when you pay your workers, you know, crime rates will go down. When you pay your contractors, you know, you will succeed by injecting money into circulation. And once people will have money to spend, people will think less of crime. But I want to make addition to that. In Nigeria, most civil servants are unproductive. Most offices in Nigeria, people are just working, earning salary. They've not made any contribution to. You know, they don't actually earn the money they are receiving. And once you have a such situation, the economy suffers. But what I will advocate is for government to pay salary as well as bonus. For government to pay based on the number of hours you put in at your workplace. In addition to paying monthly salary, not paying monthly salary, but per hour. Per hour. Government should pay per hour. Maybe every week, every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, they will add up the number of hours you've committed in the office. And that way, people in the state or in the country will be productive. But anything outside that, you have a situation whereby everybody is looking for government work. Everybody is looking for paid job, but nobody is looking at contributing or adding value to the system. And that is why we have not progressed. So what Amechi, former governor of Rivers, says is like, took listen, because we have oil money. You just share it to the workers, and the workers will be happy. Have you solved any problem? Yeah, you succeeded in dashing people money. But in actual sense, productivity has not increased. So we have to still look at all those things. And by the time we start looking at all those things, we'll begin to question those people that call themselves elected representatives. Because so many of them are sitting in national assemblies and state assemblies, earning unrock salaries for doing nothing. So I think the whole solution will go around, both on the public sector side, I mean public servants, to civil servants, and by the time it gets to civil servants, it will trickle down to the private sectors. Because once the public sector is not working. Of course, private sector will not also work. And that is the way it goes. And that is why the country called Nigeria is not working.
Exactly.
So I agree with former governor of Rivers State to some extent, to the extent that civil servants is paying should be productive. Their service delivery should be efficient, you know. So that is my submission to that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you very much. We have our social and civil responsibility to say and tell the government where they are lagging behind. We are interested in good governance, just like Mr. Ndubisi from the Good Governance Ministry. And we, the people, want a better government. When people see a better government, we know. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Ndubisi. It's nice to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow.
All right. If you're just joining, it's BVI Channel 1. I will do this again by this time tomorrow. And it's goodbye from here. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.